So you've been on another journey. I've been watching your posts, and sounds like you might be having another business opportunity through this journey too. Why don't you talk a little bit about health and how it's become important to you on as you grow as a mom too?
Yeah. So I would say like this last year, like Christian and I were really focused on how do we level up just as a whole? Like, what does that look like? How do we?
I am super excited to introduce to you another form of real estate investing that you may not have thought about. So I want to welcome to my show today, Brooke Torres. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
Great, great. Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about your story, because I think that sometimes people don't always understand about starting young. It can be a really good thing too. So talk about your story.
Yeah. Well, my husband and I met in high school. And when we met, we were really great friends prior to us dating or anything. So when we made it official, we're dating, we said, we want to start a business. And so we looked at daycares, we looked at nightclubs, we looked at bars, like all kinds of crazy stuff. And nothing really set well with us. So we said, we're not going to do any of that stuff. And we ended up going to a Rich Dad, Poor Dad seminar. And for 3 days, they sold us on real estate and why you should be in real estate, and just real estate is the most amazing thing ever. And we were totally bought in, 100% bought in. And at the end of the 3 days, they said, if you can come up with $10,000, we'll hold your hand and we'll show you exactly how to buy real estate and how to do it. And we were like, if we had $10,000, we're going to go buy our own real estate, not, just give it away. Cause then how are we going to pay it back? Like, we don't even have $10,000. So, we started with, a first time home buyer credit. So, there was Obama was giving out this $8,000 first time home buyer credit to anybody that bought a house. And so we did that and we had to come up with $6,000 down to buy this townhome. And so we borrowed that money. We got the $8,000 back. We were able to pay the $6,000 loan. And now we had $2,000 to invest with. And we were just like ecstatic. We were like, whoa, we're real investors now. And we were making like $100 a month off that rental. And but to us, that was like incredible. That was like $100 that we didn't have to work for. And so then we attended another seminar not too long later, and there was this Jewish guy, and he had like the curls, the hat, the trench coat, and he was like, if you own single family rentals, this is what your mailbox looks like. And it was like stuffed with bills. And then he was like, but if you own mobile home parks, this is what your mailbox looks like. And it was just stuffed with cash. And then my husband and I looked at each other and we were like, that's what we want our mailbox to look like. And so he just went through like the business model of it, and it just like really made sense for us. And the first park we found was on Craigslist, of all places.
Mm.
And so it just really unlocked a love of mobile home park investing and the opportunity that lies within it. And it was really, really exciting. And so we just built from there and built a portfolio up to 100 million. And we sold a portion of that so that we can take that capital and just do it on a much larger scale. So that's where we're at now.
Awesome. So what I take away from that is, one, the opportunities can be anywhere, because Craigslist is still a site. It still exists today. And I haven't been on it in years, but I don't know what kind of opportunities are still there.
Yep.
But you looked for an opportunity. You guys did not have a lot of money, so you were looking for, cost-effective ways.
Mhm.
And two, talk a little bit about, for those that have never purchased a mobile home park, what is that, and how is that different than owning like a tangible piece of real estate, like a
Yeah.
house real estate?
Yeah. So the difference was that because we had single family homes, we had a fourplex. And what ended up happening for us is we turned into maintenance people.
Mhm.
So we were getting calls all the time for just repair, miscellaneous repairs, leaky toilets, faucets, that kind of stuff. And it just became not fun anymore. And the model of mobile home parks is you own the land but not the structures. So we weren't getting called anymore for leaky toilets and faucets and turnover. We were getting called very minimal, and
Mhm.
when it was a common area problem. So what that allowed us to do is create community vision for each property that we owned, and really just gave people purpose and why they live in this community and why they would want to. So we were able to really educate the tenants on what it looked like to not be a tenant here, but be a resident here, and how we're going to protect their investment and um, thrive really as a community. So it just put us in a different um, place as a landlord on things that we could focus on and how we could create value as far as equity value, or just charging higher rents, and really just bringing that vision into the community.
Yeah, and essentially you're owning the land. We're not creating any more land in this world, so owning
Right.
land is very important too.
Yep. And then they would own the home. And so they're responsible for the upkeep of the home. They're responsible for everything related to that. And yeah, it was a very good model for us. We were like, yes, this is what we want to do.
Yeah, much better than getting the calls for the broken toilet on Christmas when no one else is
Yeah,
working.
exactly. Exactly.
Good, good. So you've said we a couple times. I know that you're married. Christian is an amazing man. So can you talk a little bit about, some good things working with your spouse, and perhaps some tips for other people that might be thinking about working with their spouse?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's really great is Christian and I have a lot of trust, right? So that, as a business partner, aside from like a friend and a spouse and all of that, but that level of trust that you can have with somebody in business is, I mean, I have yet to find it outside of Christian, right? So that in itself is great because we can easily make moves together, we can easily make decisions, and we have that level of trust. It's like he can handle things where I know he'll be prepared and ready, and vice versa. So like just on that front alone is incredible.
Mhm.
um and when we're winning together, that just makes everything even more fun, so it's like we can celebrate these wins on just such a different level that people that don't work together would never experience.
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of fun. Christian makes it a lot of fun. I mean, I know it sounds silly to say, but it's like I actually like Christian. I actually like him as a person and as a human, and like he is my best friend, and so I like hanging out with him too. So again, like just it's fun for us. Work is fun for us. We don't really have any hobbies. Like work is our hobby, real estate is our hobby. So that's fun for us. And so if
Yeah.
we can do it together, that's makes it even more fun.
Yeah, and that's okay. If those are your hobbies and you're enjoying it and it's creating a financial freedom for you and your family and to be able to give to other people, those are great hobbies to have, right?
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
So you're also a mom, so balancing that, and then you have some other journeys that you're on and some other businesses that you're doing. Talk some more about how you're kind of incorporating some other things into your life as well.
Yeah, definitely. So you'll hear a lot of people say work-life balance, right? So people are either chasing this their whole life, or they're trying to figure out what it even freaking means. They don't even know, right? So for us, we don't have work-life balance. We consider this a lifestyle. So when it comes to the kids, we don't, set aside time for the kids or set aside time for this. We're just always on. We're always, like I said, like this is a lifestyle for us. So if we're going to go look at property, we're bringing the kids and we find opportunities to incorporate them in. So, for example, we went to one of our buildings here in Miami, and my son went with Christian. And so Christian was asking him, like, how do you think we can make money here? And so Jackson was just like answering all these questions, and he pretty much nailed it on the head. Like we would rent these out and we're like, yeah, that's right. And then funny enough, we went to Walgreens right after and Jackson walks in and he's like, wow, Dad, do you own this place too? And so he's like, no, we don't own the Walgreens, but if we did, what would you sell here? And he's like, candy, so it's just like really incorporating the possibilities within real estate. And again, like they're just so abundant to really like get the innocence of a child's ideas and just constantly like incorporating that in, like I said, in our lifestyle.
Yeah. And teaching kids from a young age, so important. I think a lot of entrepreneurs kind of miss the mark on that. It's like you're going on this journey. And if you can teach them at such a young age, then how much further along they're going to be, when
Right.
they're your age. So I love that. And the fact that he's thinking, mom and dad can own this building, not it's owned by some crazy, who knows, but he's like, oh,
Right.
it's possible for you to own this. So I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been on another journey. I've been watching your posts, and sounds like you might be having another business opportunity through this journey too. Why don't you talk a little bit about health and how it's become important to you on as you grow as a mom too?
Yeah. So I would say like this last year, like Christian and I were really focused on how do we level up just as a whole. Like what does that look like? How do we, operate on a higher frequency and what does that look like? So for us and for me specifically, it was getting my health back on track. So really just being in the most optimal functioning body that I could possibly be in. And so that led me to a goal that I set to lose 100 pounds. And so I've already lost 85 pounds.
Wow.
And yes, thank you. And feel amazing. And I've incorporated things in my life that I just would not like, enjoying working out. Like I would never, eating healthy, like enjoying that. I would never, like that just wasn't me. And so it is still surreal to me that I have these habits that I actually enjoy now. And, it's just has evolved into this new person I am. And anyway, so losing weight, is probably one of the hardest things. I mean, at least for me, it is the hardest thing to do ever. I would rather go through like a million real estate transactions than lose, 100 pounds again. Like it is hard. But what really helped me was being on the right program, first and foremost, and having results, because that was needed for me to continue having motivation when clearly I didn't have it, and being in the right community. And so I've had a lot of people reach out, and so I want to build that community for women or men, but typically it's like the women that want to learn more about it. And so I'm launching something new. It's called The Healthy Way, and it's basically the exact eating program that I've done and have achieved this weight loss on.
Yeah. And I remember you talking about it too. You don't feel like you're starving yourself or you're losing out.
Right.
It seems like it's a program that most people can follow that are disciplined. And it's funny too, because I think for you, it was easier for you to hit millionaire status than it is to
Yeah.
lose 100 pounds. And for some people, they're like, what? But, sometimes that you have your struggles and it's real and it's for you. And you've decided I'm going to do this, not just for myself, but for my family. And then now that you're achieving those results, you can give back and teach others how to do it too.
Right, right. And it really, the program is not so much about, we're going to talk about losing weight. It's more of like, we'll all be losing weight without talking about losing weight. We're going to be talking about the other things that people, because people are so focused on the losing weight aspect of it, and they don't see what contributes to that. So like
Right.
mentally and your environment and your habits, like what do all those things look like? Because once I started figuring those things out, that's when I really was able to get serious about it. That's when I was really able to accomplish it.
Yeah, you walked the journey and now you're showing results and you've lost almost a whole person. So that just
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's just it's amazing. And now your kids get to see that. They may not remember you before that, but they see the healthy lifestyle choices you're making now, which you're teaching them about. So now they've got the healthy lifestyle habits and the money habits. That's like, it's gonna be like a
Yeah.
double whammy.
Yeah, my daughter's like, Mom, you're like more straight now. I'm like, great, thanks. It's just
Yeah.
like kids are
You're,
just,
you
they're
gotta
so
you have to
honest.
write that down so that
I
you
know,
can remind her that later.
they're so honest, and like, that is like a huge compliment to me, and so it's just like so funny. And just recently, I really incorporated cold plunging,
Hmm.
and the kids are like, oh my God, they're all about it. They get in with me. They're so supportive. Like they're these sweet little angels, and they'll like rub my shoulders and they'll hold my hand and they'll be like, Mom, you can do it. You can do it. Like rub my forehead. Like it's the sweetest thing. And so it's just been fun to like incorporate these things in our lifestyle that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of fun. And like I said, the kids will get in and they'll do it, and they try to set goals for themselves, like, okay, I'm going to go in for 25 seconds, and we'll set the timer. And so anyway, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. What are the health benefits behind cold plunging for those that haven't done it before?
Yeah, so by no means am I any expert at all, like, but I do know that weight loss, and really for me, what I love about it is the mental benefits of it. So really like overcoming, because it's not like if you do cold plunging for 30 days straight, like it's easy to do. Every time I get in, it is a mental, like struggle, because it's like I got to talk myself up and I got to quiet all the chit chatter that's like, oh, just don't do it, or oh, it's way too cold today, or all those things. So really it's just like the mental aspect of it that I've been enjoying. And when you get in it too, like you get a burst of oxygen, like right to your brain, and like everywhere you need it, everywhere you need
Mhm.
it. And so I feel phenomenal when I do it. But every time there is that mental hurdle I have to cross every single time. So it's just really about like getting uncomfortable and doing stuff that puts you out of your comfort zone, and, all of
Yeah,
that.
the
So,
mental clarity that comes with cold plunging, I think, is a great benefit too. And
yeah,
for those that may not know, you're in Miami, so it
yeah,
may sound like it's great to get into cold, but our bodies are used to warm. So to go
yes,
into cold, like if we lived in Michigan during the winter, it probably wouldn't feel as cold. But when
right.
it's hot every day, yeah, that's definitely a mental thing that you've got to get over to get in there.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
So
So,
I'm going to switch topics on you and do a fun question.
hmm.
If you could have a superpower or some type of super strength, what would it be and why would you pick it?
Oh, I love that. I would say the ability to have transparency, to receive and have transparency with
Mm,
every individual.
yeah.
Because I feel like so often as women, sometimes it's difficult to speak up in situations. Sometimes it's difficult to speak your mind, and also to receive that back from people.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think like if that were possible, that everybody could be on the same page, it would be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot because then, you just kind of cut through everything and get right down to what is it that you need and want, and let's figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, right. And so often I analyze, people's intentions, and you have to be careful like who you let around in your inner circle, and who you're spending your time with. And
Mhm.
a lot of the time those intentions aren't put up front. And so, if those things could just be like on the table, I think it would just make things very interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that. Awesome. All right, Brooke. So you've got your health program coming out. I know you teach about about mobile home investing, and you've got so much going on. But if our audience wants to reach you, how do they find out more information about what you're doing?
Yeah, you can check out Instagram. It's the Brooke Torres, or you can go to cashcowcapital.com.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's another episode of Empower Her Money. I'm your host, Angela Duncan. It's not about what you are learning, but how much you implement. So take the tips that you took from today's episode, implement them immediately into your life, and you will see massive success. So thanks again, Brooke.
Thank you.
Are you a business owner looking to increase your profit? Imagine transforming every podcast guest appearance to profit. It's your turn to shine as a podcast guest. I have created a course just for you. It's the secret to profiting from podcasting and being a guest. Go to podcastmoneymagnet.com today and check out this incredible course that's going to teach you how to grow your brand and grow your bank account. Feel the shift as you master being a podcast guest. Podcastmoneymagnet.com today.